Just like life, business gets harder. It's inevitably gonna get harder. You level up, but as it gets harder, you get better. I look at this kind of like a video game. How you end one level is the same difficulty that you start the next one. We're gonna start to look at some of the hard truths, but then I'm also gonna make sure you see that there is a path out. So I've got some concepts here that you can use to reframe some of these things in your mind that allow you to endure pain longer. So the first concept here is that things really do get worse. You accept the fact you have a dog is gonna last 10 years. You're probably gonna lose some friends. I've lost friends even before I was 30 years old that passed away, before I was 25 even. Business is alive. People come and go. You're gonna have people that come to this business and they choose to leave. Sometimes there's even people who excel at their job but express wanting to be an entrepreneur one day, and you have to support that mission too. Sometimes you have to be the person who pushes the button and creates that pain, knowing that there is long-term relief in the process. The second part to this is that you're on your own. Nobody is coming. Everybody wants to be at the top, but then they forget, then there's no one to ask questions. If you ask for advice, at best, it's apples to oranges, and everybody has free advice. Everybody wants you to do exactly what they did. But the reality is that there's nobody coming. Your situation is your own. You're in charge of it. People will give you some advice loosely and try and steer you, but you have to figure this out on your own. So the best example here for me was that I started a business in Florida, and almost as soon as I started one in Florida, I started another one in Wisconsin. And once I got to Wisconsin, I acquired another business. And I had people telling me how business should be ran. But as soon as you go, okay, well, have you ever ran an aviation business before? Have you ever ran a business with 2 locations before? Have you ever ran 2 synergistic businesses side by side before? You very quickly find out that their advice is almost useless. When you're at the top, you're left navigating it on your own. You can read stories and you can draw some similarities, but the reality is that your story is yours to create. My third hard truth here is that you're not as good as you think you are, neither am I. The reality is that so much of this is luck. We think that certain products are going to be our fastest sellers, and then we find the ones that are sitting on the shelf because of circumstance, covered in dust, they sell through a shortage. We think that somebody working at another company who's been there for 17 years is going to come on board and they're going to revolutionize everything that we do. And the reality is it's oftentimes the people coming through the door who are looking for opportunity, even if they come with a blank slate, they're the ones that move the needle the most. So what I'm saying here is that everything that you're trying to attribute to success could be summed up as luck. Business is a massive set of actions that lead to different outcomes. If you really pay attention to those, there's probably not as much attribution to your efforts as what you think. A lot of this really is luck. I know that these sound like doom and gloom, but what I'm getting at here is that if you can reframe your mind, that's what we're doing when we say it gets worse. Reframe your mind, accept these things, and if you can do that, you'll have something that nobody else has, and you'll have something that words can't describe. I always think about this like painting your house. Imagine if the only paint on planet Earth was translucent. It took 10 coats before it looked good, and everybody else put 1 coat on their house because they wanted to seal it up. But you were the madman, the person who went around the house 10 times, endured all of that pain. Nobody else could have it, and you have it. That's what you're looking at here if you can reframe everything in your mind.